Did y'all know that the city of Miami had one of the worst riots in American history? Well, if you didn't, don't worry, I did some digging. Let's get into it. Now, in January 1989, a police officer was trying to pull over a motorcycle for speeding in a residential area. Now, I have to say this, he was black, all right? But he didn't stop, and he ended up losing this patrol car. But this police officer put it over the radio. Hey, look, gave the description, whole nine, it's a motorcycle. They got an occupant on the back, all right? Pull him over. Now, that's where William Lozano comes into place, all right? Because William and his partner were on another traffic stop nearby, and he heard this over his radio. Now, William responded to the call, and his partner stayed with the other traffic stop. But when William spotted out the motorcyclist, he actually stood in the road, all right, and pointed his gun at the motorcyclist and fired. Now, the motorcyclist was killed instantly, all right? And the person that was on the back with him ended up passing away a couple days later, all right? But this is the thing about this whole thing. There was witnesses to this whole encounter with this police officer. Now, I have to mention something real quick so y'all can get the rest of the story, okay? It's 1989. There was riots already in 1980 and in 1982, which destroyed the city. Now, William claims that the motorcycle came in his direction and that's why he fired. But there was there was a lot of witnesses around saying, look, no, that ain't what happened. They say that he literally ran into the road in front of the motorcycle, all right? And he stood there and waited for the motorcycle to get close enough. He had his gun drawn and he fired. Now, the city is pissed, all right? They're hearing this whole thing, they pissed, all right? And they ended up leaving the motorcyclist's body on the ground for 2 hours. And the motorcyclist's name was Clement Lloyd. Now, before they could even really get the crime scene set, they had already started rioting. They were attacking the police on scene. People were coming through and destroying things immediately because they were over it. This was just another strike that was pissing the city of Miami off. Now, for the remainder of that day in Liberty City and in Overtown, rioting is going on through the whole town, right? People are destroying businesses, people are destroying cars, and they setting stuff on fire, they looting, they robbing, they doing all kind of stuff so they can, just get out their anger. But this the thing. They thought this rioting thing was gonna be over in a couple hours. They thought like overnight, they're gonna be all night, we're gonna get the police in here, we're gonna straighten them. No, it gets even worse on day 2 because they go even further into the city and tear up more of the city. So now the city of Miami, they have to bring in over 700 extra police officers from neighboring cities to try to gain control of Overtown and Liberty City. Now, I read this in an article that I was reading, all right? A lot of the cops that came in that 700 batch, a lot of them were right out of training. They were right out of training. And this was one of the first things that they had to do, was be involved in this massive riot. Now, it's going into day 3, okay? We're going into day 3 of just continuous 24-hour rioting in the city of Miami, all right? And in all of the neighborhoods, okay? But something important is coming up the next day, and the city say, look, man, we got to put a stop to this because y'all finna start messing up our money. Now, the Miami Heat had an important basketball game the next day, and the city of Miami like, look, we have to end this quick, fast, in a hurry so people can come to this game. They've already bought tickets. We've already got the other team coming. And look, this is their first season, but guess who the other team is? Yeah, the Chicago Bulls. And Michael Jordan is coming into town. He's the most important player at this time in the league. He hasn't done the 6 for 6. He ain't the GOAT yet, but he right now is probably one of the best players in the league. Got the Jays on, see him? Miami say, look, we got to do something because we need this game. People done bought their tickets, and this is Miami, Florida. Now, what they did is they put a barricade around the Miami arena, all right? And basically, if you were coming here to loot, riot, protest, do all of that stuff, you could do it outside of the barricade. But if you got tickets and you are a fan and you come in here for the game, you could get inside of these barricades. Now, after day 3, after everything slowed down a little bit, it was about $100 million worth of damage, all right? And about 20-something to 30 people were injured. Nobody was murdered, all right, directly to this, all right? But let's go look and see what happened to the cop. Now, this is the thing about this trial, okay? They did this trial right in Miami, all right, in the Dade County area, right? And they ended up trying him, and they found him guilty of manslaughter. But you know he was going to appeal it, so he ended up appealing it. He had a good lawyer. The lawyer said, look, you shouldn't have gave my client this trial inside of the city. It's biased. They got a lot of hate, and a lot of people have already known what's going on with the case, so it should have never been in Miami-Dade. Now, they ended up moving the trial to a different city, all right? And when they gave him a new trial, all right, he ended up being acquitted. You know, that's how it happens all the time. Now, the only thing that he got out of this bad for him was that the whole time he was going through this trial, he didn't get paid, all right? Now, if you're from the Miami area and you remember this, please put in the comments something that I might not have said or I said wrong. Please put it in the comments, man, and let people know, because this is the first time I've ever heard of this, all right? So the more you know, peace.